Welcome to Her Story Studio. I'm Mimi, and we're here to dive into lessons through her story, her peaks, her valleys, her breakthroughs, her journey. So bring your glass of wine and an open mind. Hey friends, I hope y'all are good and getting comfortable because I am really looking forward to speaking with our guest for this episode. Mainly because for me, I love to hear stories about how people were able to turn their passion and purpose into thriving businesses. And our guest today, Danyelle Jones, can tell us a little bit about how she did it. Danyelle is an educator, an entrepreneur, and a woman who is building her business from her passion and purpose. Danyelle has built her career around working with youth, from managing a shelter home for teen girls in Illinois to teaching in Chicago public schools, y'all. And I'm quite sure she's got some stories to tell about what she's heard and seen from her experiences. And I think really that may be how she went along with her path of starting her business called Mindfully. Mindfully is a growing company that produces mindset tools centered around providing positive affirmations and images for Black and brown children. Danyelle has been intentional about creating products and tools that help to speak life into Black and brown youth. Her products range from coloring and activity books, the ABCs of Me affirmation vocabulary cards, postcards, digital music, and more. My family is a patron of Mindfully products, and my daughter, she loves coloring images of children that look just like her. And honestly, I think really that is the intention of Danyelle and her company, Mindfully. It's about affirming and building our next generation, countering all of the negativity that we see in the media, the news, and even in our own environments. Today, Danyelle is here to speak about how she, as an entrepreneur, changed the game by turning her passion and purpose into profit. Danyelle has been featured in Essence.com as an Essence Magazine 2020 Essential Hero, and she is continuing to be creative and grow her company. And I just got to figure out how she's doing it. So grab your wine, y'all, coffee, tea, y'all know what to do. Get comfortable because this is Danyelle's Her Story Lesson. Introducing Danyelle Jones. Hey, Danyelle.
Hey.
Welcome.
How you doing?
Good. Welcome to Her Story Lesson Studio. And
thank you so much for having me on today.
Oh my goodness. Thank you for being here. I really wanted to find out about Mindfully. Can you share what the company is and what products you offer?
Mindfully is a company created specifically for youth, but really I feel like everything we have can be helpful to all ages, but specifically for Black and brown youth. Mindfulness is just being present in the moment and being able to kind of feel what you feel and be there and like accept the moment and then move forward from that. So we have several tools such as activity book called Amazing and Incredible Me. And that in that book, everything else kind of just stemmed from that book. So in that book, it has a section on your mind, how to keep a positive mindset through affirmations and also positive self-talk. Also, it talks about feelings and emotions and how to communicate those. I know something like that would have been helpful to me as a youth and working with kids every day. I know they have a hard time expressing themselves sometimes. So I just wanted to plant some seeds of how to communicate in there. Also, health and wellness is really big to me. And just as a community as a whole, we know for Black people, it gets pushed that we need to do this and that, especially in COVID times. health and wellness has been very crucial and critical for us as a people. So I want to plant seeds of health and wellness. And then at the end, I revised the book and added a section on community and how just having a good support system is important. And also there's like a little quiz on, are you a good friend? So thinking about who you are and then purposely planting yourself in the right space to be around the right people that you can all be assets to. So that's what the book is about. And then we have music. I call it mindset music. Yeah. I love music. It's like one of my top favorite things in the world. If I'm down, I just play a song and it just changes my whole day. So I know how impactful music can be and how important it is to, again, our culture. And I noticed that we had like a party outside of our school and they were playing like Meg Stallion and some other stuff, and they had to cut it off because it was inappropriate. We in middle school. The kids don't really have any music. So the kids don't have, I feel like, I don't know if I'm just not in tune with the world right now, but I feel like kids don't have a lot of the options that I had when I was younger. We had more of a variety in the music that was played. So I just want to provide positive music for kids. So we have that. And then what else do we have? We have the ABCs of Me cards, which ties into the positive affirmations in the book, where you just go from A to Z, speaking positivity and to you and to your life. And it also has the definitions, so you can know exactly what you're speaking. Sometimes it's like, I'm amazing. But then if you really read the definition of amazing, you might be like, oh, wait. So making sure you know what you're speaking when you're speaking words over yourself. And then the last thing posters. We just started the posters. It's back to school. And I was like, I'm a teacher and I really don't tap into that much. Like I'm just like, that's my day job. So after that's over, I'm just like, I don't think about it. But I'm like, why not? So I'm like, we don't really have many posters and things to hang up as Black teachers that reflect our students. So just providing that is something that we're recently doing. We're about to start a back to school campaign. So we'll see how that goes.
That's awesome. So I personally enjoy your products, and just recently I just ordered something new because I have a 5-year-old, and so I always look for images that reflect who she is and affirm who she is, especially because she'll be starting school and I already know what that looks like and what she may already be represented as to other people. And so I always want to affirm and remind her internally, you need to speak to yourself and remind yourself about who you are, where you come from. So as far as when you wanted to start your company, you've been working with youth for a very long time. Was there something that you can like pinpoint to say, this, I need to do this. I need to start this company. There's a need here and I'm the person to do it.
I can remember just several experiences throughout where I just took note of them or that they stuck with me. I can remember probably 12 years ago, 2007-ish. I'm not good at math. But 2007, I was student teaching in a school, in a high school, and one of the kids, because I teach visual art, so we had their work hanging up, and one of the kids walked by one of the other kids' work, and he like took his pencil and just like wrote on the child's work. Like, why did you do that? He's like, I don't know. I was like, you really don't know. So that's something that stuck with me, just like doing things without thought.
Yeah.
Just reacting. And that's really something to tap into. Like,
why is
what was it about something with that child? That there's an issue there, or is there, like, what is the root cause of that? And then just working with kids who just have emotional struggles.
Sure.
And they have a hard time maybe calming down. They get angry and frustrated. And they just can't seem to grab hold of those emotions. So those having various experiences like that have always stuck with me. I'm always pretty good at being calm in response and like saying things that are, helpful to help them calm down. And I notice there's not a lot of adults will react, even though we're the adult in the situation. Because there's been times when I first started teaching where I'll go back and forth with the child, like, this is a child. Right. So I had to learn to Q-tip, which is quit taking it personal. Why am I taking the situation personal? I'm here to assist in any way I can. And they also teach me every day. So how can we be more helpful to each other instead of harmful? So yeah, situations like that stick with me, where it's like, why don't we have the skills to communicate how we're feeling instead of getting frustrated and angry, and really having the vocabulary to name what the issue is. Right. I think we say, like, I'm mad, I'm really mad, but really something happened that disappointed you. And that disappointment is causing you to feel this way. And that's why you're acting this way. It's not mad, it's not anger, it's disappointment. So really having the vocabulary to pinpoint so you can get to the root cause of what's happening so you can deal with it in a more helpful way. So those are the experiences that kind of help me to tap into that. One more story. I think more recently, something that connected mindfully or made me think, okay, I can maybe do this, is that since I teach art, some kids would finish their work pretty early, and then they would have nothing to do. So I'd kind of hand them a coloring sheet. And then, like, our school is very rigorous. They want the kids to be, like, pushing critical thinking at all times. So the principal came in and was like, what are these coloring sheets here? Like, they were just like regular, like a Superman picture or something real basic. They're like, we need something more rigorous that's going to drive their thinking. So, like, let me go ahead and make my own coloring sheet. Just like you mentioned with your daughter, having things that reflect them. I can remember myself in kindergarten, it was like a Barbie picture or something I had. And it's just basic Barbie. But she wasn't black, but I colored her black. I colored her hair black. Her skin was brown, and she looked like me, even though the actual drawing didn't reflect me. So that's something I always took note of. So I was like, maybe I can create my own coloring sheets that actually have kind of more like an adult coloring sheet would look, as far as like having a more extensive background color in, a picture that actually reflects who the children are, and then putting a positive affirmation or something that they can learn on the coloring sheet to make them more helpful, because the kids enjoy coloring. So I don't want to take that from them. But since you guys want me to give them something a little higher level, let me go ahead and create it myself. So those coloring pictures are what some of them ended up in that first activity book.
That's awesome. So it sounds like, from what you're saying, it sounds like my next question was, what really fosters your creativity? And it sounds like your experiences with what you do in your 9 to 5 is what really inspires creativity on the business side.
In a way, I would say that some of these things, like creating music, is something I've thought about since I was a child. But I just didn't know like what kind or what. So I think everything kind of has worked together in my life to pour into this. But working with the kids does, because I want ways to assist them. I want them to be, I tell them all the time, like, I want you to be better than me. And so I look at all the things that I wish I would have had, or the things somebody would have taught me that I'm just now learning in my 30s. So let me give this to you today so you don't have to go through some of the things and some of the emotional highs and lows. And you can be a little more stable and make better decisions for yourself. So let me give you these tools now so you don't have to do what I did. You can do better.
Yeah. So when you started Mindfully, did you have the business savvy side, or did you have to go out and research what to do? Or did you have someone around you that can kind of guide you? How did you go out and do it?
Well, it kind of started in the pandemic. I started creating the book a little bit before the pandemic. I think the pandemic probably assisted me in ways. I think there's some things I'm naturally like business savvy with, but do I know all the ins and outs today? No, I still don't. I'm still learning. I've only been doing this for 1 year.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So yeah, there's definitely more things I have to learn, especially like on marketing and promoting side. a lot of things, like I started with something that's within my wheelhouse. Everything I do is things that I'm able to do myself, which is helpful for me financially.
So you started the website, all of that by yourself?
Yes. Like I said, like things from my childhood just all like aligned. Like I love technology as a kid. So I used to fix stuff on the computer and just like being in elementary school, playing little games. And I think I took an HTML web course in high school because I was just so intrigued with the internet. It's just amazing to me. So like, and I took a Photoshop class in high school as well. So like all those things I just build on and I continued. I love graphic design and stuff like that. And I was able to teach my kids graphic design too. So I'm like, this has been so helpful for me in my life. And these are things, sorry, I have a dog. These are things that you guys can use right now too. You can make money because they're always like, we tell them, we talk about college with them and things that are like 10 years or it depends on whatever their age is. Like they have several years to get to that point. Well, here's something you could do today and you can make a little pocket change or even bigger with like the way the internet is today. You could have your own business at 16, 14. So yeah, all those things kind of from my childhood, just learning and dabbling in different creative things. I love to create. So that really helped me with putting together a website. And I'm still like refining that every single day. Like if you looked at it at the beginning of the month, it looks different than it looks right now. Cause like I'm reading books on like how to, get better results from the way the website looks and what does it need to say? How does it need to be lined up? All that stuff. So I'm always looking for ways to be better, and grow with the business.
So you love art, you're passionate about art and music, and you always had a vision or something that said that you wanted to get into music, you wanted to be creative, and then you let your professional career experiences lead you kind of into that in a way. How do you kind of encourage other people who want to do this, but they don't know where to start? They kind of don't even know how to steer their passion into, oh, maybe I can start here, or maybe I can just do this. Is there one thing that you can suggest that they start doing, whether it's just, I don't know, even writing plans and vision boards or something that they can do as a seed to kind of move forward?
I would say a couple of years ago, I was really frustrated. It's like, what is my purpose? I just don't know. And I read Purpose Driven Life, and they have several quizzes in the Purpose Driven Life. And the quiz actually, or whatever the result was from reading the book, my purpose from what I gathered from reading that book was to help people, and it would do something involving the internet. So that book kind of gave me those two things. I was like, I still don't know what my purpose is, though. Like, what is it? Like, can you narrow it down? The internet and helping people. How can I help people there?
In case anybody's wondering who the author is, Rick Warren.
So that book was helpful in narrowing down those two things. And I just kind of kept that information in my back pocket.
Yeah.
And I just continued to be me. And I think when you're self-aware, you really just like strip down everything else, what other people tell you to do, put that to the side. Who are you? What do you enjoy? Like, what is the thing that you would do even if no one paid you for it? Kind of start with things like that. And what's something simple, something that's not going to even take a whole lot to, like I said, I started in my wheelhouse. I started in my wheelhouse with drawing. I was like, let me do a book first because I know how to draw and I can put things in the computer. So what do you already know how to do, and how can you use what you know how to do what you love? So I think that could be a starting point. Just really figure out who you are, be honest with yourself about who you are and what you can do. Like sometimes we set goals that we really ain't gonna do that. So be honest about who you are and what you're willing to do to get to where you want to be. And then just start taking action. Just take small steps, and small steps add up to big results. So just continuously work at whatever it is that you that you're really passionate about, and just move forward from there. And also, I did an interview last week. I said the same thing, but I went to an event a couple years ago. I think it had to do something with the Gospel Fest in Chicago, and Ty Tribbett and Kim were there, and they were having a discussion. I can't remember exactly what the discussion was about, but Ty Tribbett said, how is anybody going to know what you do if you don't tell them? So basically, stop playing small. Don't be afraid to tell the world what you do. Speak up when you hear opportunities. Don't just hope, well, I hope they say something to me. I hope they ask me if I want to. Go ahead and tell people what you do. Volunteer yourself, and volunteering in different spaces is a good thing too, to get around people who are like-minded. And find a community of people who are like-minded and doing the things that you want to do, so you can stay motivated. People who are actually taking action.
Sure. Can you talk about some of your biggest wins since you've started Mindfully? And also on the flip side, some of your losses and things that you've learned along the way that you kind of, okay, this is how I have to do it differently next time.
Since we did start in a pandemic, I think that was helpful because everybody's at their computer.
Yeah.
So I think as far as wins, right away, like I put something up and people supported me, family, friends. And then outside of that scope, people I didn't know start supporting after they shared. So I think those were the wins in the beginning. And just like being like people do, like getting good feedback. People do actually like this or enjoy this. So then that was kind of affirming for me to have that positive feedback. I would say 2021 has been a little bit harder because now the world is back opened up. So everybody's not locked into their computers like they were. So now you have to be a little more interesting.
You have to be a little bit more competitive too, or just...
Yeah. You got to get people's attention. There's other things I want to do outside of just selling the products on the internet. So now that we are able to, like, at least for the time being, be able to be in spaces with people, now pushing myself outside of my comfort zone to network with people and possibly get opportunities to present these tools actually in person and not just on the internet. And then as far as like the internet is, it's a one-person business right now. So it's like learning the marketing side of things and how to do things and say things in a way that's going to capture people's attention and let them know that what you have is of value, that I'm not just here to make $1. Like I really have something that I think will be an asset to your life. So just working on that side of it is like has been much harder. So yeah, just learning the ins and outs and learning more about business and trying to expand and grow and figure out how to tap into my audience in a way that's effective.
And that leads me to my final question is what's the vision for Mindfully? Where do you see it going in maybe 5 to 10 years?
I would love to have like a website that is interactive for kids where they can log in and do different things that involve the music, like again, stuff I loved as a child.
Like creating music or
where they're listening to the music, where they're interacting with different, like where there's like creating videos that have like lessons that relate to social emotional learning and things of that nature. And then maybe they're taking quizzes or things of that nature. It's like a website. Also in-person stuff. Since the health and wellness is so important to me, cooking classes for kids, Because I remember at one point, I don't know if it was middle school, like we had home ec. That's how I learned how to cook eggs.
Right.
So like,
and so
some of these kids, if they knew how to cook certain things, they would maybe opt for fresh foods over the hot chips at the corner store. So just really like spending more time with kids outside of my classroom space, and really doing, like, I love to be in the classroom and I like art, but what I really love is just helping people to get what they want. So what is it that you want to know? What is it about life that you're struggling with, and how can I be of service to you? So maybe one day having a space where kids can come, and just like a safe space for them. If they just want to hang out, maybe we have a little yoga class or cooking class, whatever it is. So those are like some of the visions that pop into my head when I think like 5-10 years in the future.
That's awesome. Thank you for being here. Thank you for starting mindfully and focusing your company on mindfulness and building up our young people, their mental and emotional health and well-being. So thank you for your focus of the products that you're creating. And thank you for being on Her Story Lesson.
No, thank you so much for having me. I enjoyed speaking with you, and I hope this was helpful to somebody out there.
It was. It was helpful to me. Thank you. I'm going to play Get Up. It's one of their songs that's on your website, and it's also available for purchase. Take a listen.
Lost in the sea, tough waters got you scared of drowning. Always pummeling your brain, got you going down, 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 down. Oh, your energy is low. So many things to do, but you don't really wanna go. When it feels like nothing's going right, it's okay to cry, but I need for you to fight. Go get it. If you want it, you gotta stick with it. Get up. You gotta make a change. If you don't, everything remains the same. Get up. Go ahead and persevere. Negativity, we kick it to the rear. Get up, cause this is your life. You only get one, so you gotta get it right. Get up, my friend. Don't you know you can make it to the end? Get up, young king. Have a fear, step out and do your thing. Get up, baby girl. Don't you know right here is your world? Don't let them take your joy. Gonna be some highs and lows, but when you win, oh boy. You are not alone. Time to take control. Adjust and set